I'm Tania Chanter. I'm an abstract artist in the Yarra Valley, Victoria. I wanted to give you a tour of my art studio. Although it's small, it does the job for me. As you can see, I have my paints hanging on the wall and a few in the tubs. And I'm working on a couple of different paintings at the moment. This one is a large abstract landscape. So you can see it's all very loose. There's a lot of impasto and modelling paste, a lot of runs, it's very free. And this is another one, it's still an abstract, but at the same time, I sometimes like to have a detailed aspect. So this is my bird series, and you can see it is quite detailed. And I just like the contrast between the detail and the very loose style. That really fascinates me. Over here I have my paintings stored away in their racks. This painting is another example of this abstract landscape style that is fairly loose, but then at the same time the foreground is fairly loose, but then when you come in you can see that the trees are much more detailed. So I really again love that contrast. There's another good example here of another series that I'm working on at the moment as well, and that's my Stormy Landscape series. So the sky is very heavily textured with modelling paste and many layers. It's quite abstract, but then I have the detailed part down the bottom. So I really enjoy working on that type of painting. I love walking along the beach, especially on stormy days. I live in a beautiful part of Australia in the Yarra Valley near Sylvan Dam, and there are so many walking tracks to explore. I just love going for walks in the forest. I find that it clears my head. There's so much beauty to see and variety in the colours as the light changes throughout the day and time of year. I'm inspired by the natural landscape. I find I don't tend to work from photographs for my landscape painting because I'm trying to really capture a mood and a feeling rather than an accurate representation of a location, unless I'm working on a piece where there's a contrast between something very detailed like a bird, like in this piece over here, and then I'll use a photograph. Otherwise, it's just memory because I'm not so focused on detail generally, but more on the mood of a scene. Well, my style of painting is very expressive and intuitive. I really just go for it. And I find that I have issues if I get the colours wrong. If I get the colours right from the start, it's almost like magic. The painting kind of comes to life in front of my eyes, but I find that if I get it wrong, I may end up lying on the floor in tears. It's just devastating. When it gets like that, I find the solution is usually just to paint over the whole thing and start again. And I think my record for painting over something is probably 8 times. Well, these are my favourite tools in the art studio. This, and sometimes this. And also not to forget my favourite packing slave. Usually I like to exercise first thing in the morning, and I find I feel much more motivated to paint in the afternoon. Taking risks can be a bit scary, because of the fear of making mistakes, even small ones, because I always think to myself, oh, I don't want to ruin what I'm working on, so I don't take a risk, just in case it doesn't pay off. But I find that if I start thinking like that, this only kills creativity. And if I force myself to take a risk and embrace the mistakes, the end result can surprise me.